And I now invite Ms. Unaisi Vuniwaqa to take the floor.
Madam President, distinguished members of the Council, ladies and gentlemen, my brief this morning is on continued policing amidst COVID-19, including protection of civilians. With the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, UNMISS was confronted with an unprecedented threat to the health of the communities we serve, as well as our own personnel. The mission acted swiftly and decisively to continue implementing its protection and peace-building mandate and protect our staff, while proactively managing reputational risks by countering misconceptions among the local population about UNMISS personnel being contagion vectors. To this end, robust action was taken to mitigate the spread of the virus, including freezing non-essential travel, prohibiting large gatherings, and limiting interaction outside of bases, and requiring physical distancing, mask wearing, and hand washing. Balancing the delivery of our mandated responsibilities with the health and safety of our peacekeepers and vulnerable communities, including the thousands of displaced families living in the protection of civilian sites adjacent to the UNMISS base, was of paramount importance. Despite the risks and the enormous challenges, peacekeepers remained motivated to continue delivering their mandated responsibilities. With the difficulties in implementing prevention measures for the IDPs inside the protection of civilian site camps and congested living conditions, conducting hands-on policing in the site posed a considerable risk to not only the UNPOL component, but the mission as a whole. UNPOL therefore reduced its footprint inside the protection of civilian sites, but maintained capacity to respond to emergency security situation if necessary. UNPOL also maintained patrols around the POC sites, high visibility patrols, and confidence and trust building patrols in town in the 10 field offices. All responses to the exceptional security situation, including reports of SGBV inside the protection of civilian sites, were recorded by UNPOL for the purpose of contact tracing if needed. Notably, at the height of the COVID outbreak in June, fighting erupted in the Juba POC 3, with about 500 IDPs involved daily over a 3-day period. FPUs responded equipped with COVID-19 PPE and successfully stopped the fighting with no casualties. As anticipated, FPU officers later tested positive for COVID-19. However, the swift quarantine of the affected contingent curtailed the risks of the virus spreading to the entire UNMISS base. Madam President, on the technical assistance and advice, or TAA, activities, workshops continue to be conducted with a strict adherence to social distancing and other COVID-19 prevention protocols, including remote TAA sessions and imposing limits on number of participants for physical presence activities. In addition, the South Sudan National Police Service, or SSNPS, was regularly engaged on the decongestion of holding facilities to avoid spread of the virus. Support was provided to the IDP communities and our counterpart, the SSNPS, as well as other law enforcement agencies through sensitization on COVID-19 awareness, donation of hand sanitizers and PPE, including disposable face masks, and the development and dissemination of COVID preventing guidelines for police and prisons. Moreover, quick impact projects to renovate and build selected police stations were followed through despite the COVID-19 situation, and 7 were completed for handing over to SSNPS in the last fiscal year. This is crucial to enhancing the protection of civilians in anticipation of the co-location of UNPOLs with SSNPS. We will continue to strengthen the capacity of SSNPS to ensure protective environment for the civilian population. Madam President, with the ceasefire and peace deal in South Sudan, political violence has markedly reduced over the past 2 years. The mission, in close contact with NGOs, donors, and IDPs themselves, in working to gradually withdraw our peacekeepers and redesignate the POC site to conventional IDP camps. The POC sites in Wau and Bo have already successfully transitioned to IDP camps. The redesignation enables both the military component as well as the armed pole to increase its protection activities outside of the camps where protection needs are greater. With the redesignation of POC sites, the government of South Sudan assumes responsibility for protecting the safety and security of IDPs. Pole, therefore, plays a key role in preparing for the transition through engagement with SSNPS to build their community-oriented policing capacities. Pole is providing technical and logistical support as well as co-locating with SSNPS for on-site training, mentoring, coaching, and monitoring of policing activities. Pole will also continue to support the delivery of humanitarian assistance and to deploy in emergency situations to protect humanitarian workers who are at risk. Furthermore, Pole is working with the Rule of Law section to strengthen the rule of law and access to justice in all locations where transition of POC sites have or will take place. These activities will include support to SSNPS, prisons, prosecutions, and the courts. Madam President, notwithstanding the challenges from COVID, our commitment to protect civilians remains steadfast. We will continue to find innovative ways to implement our mandate and together with SSNPS and other partners, work towards creating a protective and peaceful environment for all South Sudanese. Thank you.